Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to Vampire the Masquerade, Reckoning of New York. And in the last episode, guys, we were able to leave the audience of the Ministry and take a little powder here at the docks, trying to kind of decide what we're going to be doing next. And in the process of this, we discovered that Paddy is indeed a Malkavian. I mean, you kind of get the vibe, especially with how obsessive-compulsive he was about his ring. But we were able to get that out of the way. It seems that there's no secrets right now between Paddy and Callie. Of course there are, but maybe just a little bit more of transparency. And we have a decision to make on where we're going to go next. We can go to the Malkavian Hope or the Nosferatu Kaiser. Now, I asked you guys in the comments to give me your opinions on who we should go to, and it seemed pretty split. So we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. I have a D10 right here in my hand, and we are going to roll for it. Evens, we're going to go to Kaiser. Odds, we're going to go to Hope. Here we go. That is a 4. Kaiser it is. Hate to say it, but I think our best bet is the city's top info broker, risky as he seems. Alright, I'll set up a meeting for tomorrow night just after sunset. Meet me in my haven as soon as possible. You'll find another place to crash tonight, I take it? He's learning. Neat. Yeah, but I'll be there. Pinky promise. He flashes me a knowing grin and nods. Then we go our separate ways, melting into the vanishing night. Kind of ironic, isn't it? The deeper I sink into this mess, the lighter I feel. Wherever you go. So we have got a feeding opportunity at the Unisphere or Hunts Point Landing. Ooh. Interesting. I mean, we probably do need to feed for the main quest. So we were just at Hunts Point Landing, right? The landing looks secluded enough to sneak in a quick bite. Fingers crossed I can dodge any IRL streamers. I've got the worst luck with those. Paddy heads back to his haven, but I'm in no such rush. The area isn't exactly the pinnacle of modern urban design, but I'm pretty sure it has its uses. A prime spot for fine dining on the go, for example. Or at least a passable one. So I take a leisurely stroll in search of a late-night snack. Reynard kept lecturing me, like on repeat, not to call mortals snacks because I'm belittling those without whom I just mess a base of instincts. Or whatever. Kind of rich coming from a pathological liar who treats mortals like livestock at an auction. But, yeah, there's a point somewhere in that. Strangely, there's lots of mortals around for this hour. No convenient joggers, not in this weather. But I quickly spot a group of totally plastered Broadway bros, singing numbers at the top of their lungs as they stagger along. I consider going after them, but in the end I decided it'll be too much work splitting them up. And why bother, when there's surely easier prey just around the corner. But as I meander through the area, I don't really find anybody suitable either. There's a girl dragging her blackout drunk friend through the snow. A homeless person over there pulls their cart, shivering against the lashing wind. A small group of dead-eyed college students, I assume, talk about dunking their heads in the water to wake up because they can't stomach any more caffeine. It's a pretty lively place. You'd think I wouldn't starve around here. I'm getting grumpy at being forced to give up. The sun's almost at the horizon. I should hurry to the nearest of our havens, but then I hear it. The incomprehensible babbling of a teenager high as a kite, punctuated with bursts of joyous shrieking. Man, I'm almost jealous. I don't even bother sneaking up. He probably won't even notice me anyway. Instead, I stride confidently toward the sound, eager to actually quell the hunger for a while this time. The teenager is spinning around in circles in a conveniently secluded spot, waving his phone around as if he were the camera operator in Gravity, and cracking up like it's the funniest shit in the world. He seems to be talking to the camera and gesturing wildly, but I can't catch anything. Perhaps it isn't English? Or maybe he's just too high to string actual words together. Judging by the blown-out pupils, I'm pretty sure it's the latter. I stop briefly, more out of confusion than anything else. Like, What the fuck is this kid doing in a place like this at the crack of dawn, high out of his mind, trying to record something? My confusion is cut short when the teenager stops spinning, blurts out something excitedly, and wobbles toward me, pointing the camera straight in my face. Well, shit. I can't let him turn me into a viral short. But I also don't want to waste energy on him. Not when I'm so hungry. Let's just snatch the phone away. No time to waste then. I throw my poncho over my head just in case it's a live stream or something, who the fuck knows, and lunge at him like a tiger. I snatch the phone out of his hand with no trouble at all. He doesn't seem to fully understand what's going on because his fingers are still curled around thin air. I smile at him, put the phone behind my back, and crush it in my grip like it's nothing more than a crumbly cookie. Then I smile even wider, creeping slowly toward him like a shadow. He sees me coming, of course. There's no way he wouldn't. But honestly, I'm way past caring. High as he is, he won't remember a thing when he wakes up, that's for sure. Because when I gently, sweetly peel away his lapel to uncover his neck, he's still mumbling something to himself and waving his empty hand around. Wasted influencer, well, this is gonna go well. The first sip of his blood almost has me reeling. It is so full of crack I can hardly believe the boy's still standing. Seems I'm going to be up for a party of my own tonight. I don't drink the teenager dry, even though I'm tempted to, but there's been enough near breaches of the Masquerade tonight, especially with that phone. After I've had my fill, I even sit the boy on a bench instead of leaving him on the ground to be buried in the snow. Look at me, a good Samaritan, am I right? I stretch like a cat and squint at the horizon. It's high time I found a haven, or a cat even. Dawn's a-comin'. Wherever you go, let's quickly do the math. Deadly sunlight plus my clan's peculiarities equals a new spot to keep me from getting dusted. I just hope it's better than the last one. But honestly, with the chaos that keeps unfolding, any hideout will do. The apartment I scored thanks to the signs of our crew. Wonder who left it there. Raynard? Jess? Is thankfully much better than the dump I had to crash in back in the Bronx. It's clean, spacious, and sunproof, so at least I won't fry to a crisp while daydreaming. Not exactly my cozy RV, but hey, in a couple of nights I could get used to it. If it weren't for the damn near certainty that I'll turn into a pile of ash come sunset, that is. Lying in this queen-sized bed, hands laced behind my head, waiting for sleep to hit, my mind can't help but spiral around the shitstorm of the past few nights. Turns out there's more I don't know about Raynard than I do about Paddy, and I've been Raynard's child for almost 2 freaking years. My embrace. Yeah, that's not a trip down memory lane I enjoy. Not just because it felt like getting ripped apart, but because it caught me off guard. I wasn't one of those poor sods whose entire existence revolved around becoming kindred, who slaved away as ghouls for decades, if not centuries, just for a chance at that one final kiss. Ghoul, a minion created by giving a bit of vampiric vitae to a mortal without draining them of blood first, which would create a vampire itself instead, and creates an addict. To be honest, I had no desires or purposes back then, just drifting through life much like these nights, following impulses. Hit up that city. No, scratch that. Head to the other one. Swipe from that dude here, scam from that lady over there, put on a show, disappear. Live. I caught Raynard's eye at a music festival. I was really raking it in with sleights of hand, hustling the clueless out of their money. Rich kids were everywhere, dripping with cash and confidence, making my job a damn breeze. In just one day, I made enough to cover my tickets 3 times over. It lasted until Raynard came along and decided to take me down a notch, exposing all of my tricks, swindle me out of my hard-earned money, humiliating me in front of my cash cows, and then had the nerve to promise me some bright, shining future with his gang. I told him to go to hell, obviously, and had it with assholes and had zero interest in joining a gang. Cruising alone across the country suited me just fine, or so I thought. Been years since I convinced myself that solitude meant freedom. But soon enough, whether I liked it or not, I learned a whole new meaning of freedom, one that went way beyond just being lonely. Because that very same night, Reynard spotted me in the crowd and decided to embrace me right under everyone's noses. No one even batted a freaking eye as he hauled my dying ass out of that festival. Man, I'm in a rotten mood today, ain't I? Gotta remind myself it's not all bad. Those last 2 years with Reynard's coterie were better than a big chunk of my life. Turns out being part of a tight-knit group, a found family, he calls it, can be pretty damn sweet. Not so much when the leader turns out to be a line-dodging snake, though. That's a recent bombshell. With that merchandise not reaching the buyer, the sudden antediluvian obsession, and being at the very top of the circulatory system hit list. God damn it, Reynard Castle. What the hell did you get yourself into?
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom.
Slow night, boss? He clearly detests it when I call him that, but I keep tossing it his way every now and then. Who knows, maybe it'll rekindle some of that old buddy vibe we lost along the way. Not that I'm dying for it, it's just he turns into a total snorefest when he flips off that professional switch. Handling the Callahan case the way he did, I knew it wouldn't exactly endear me to him. Turns out it might have cut him deeper than I ever thought it would.
How many this time?
Another 2. A Duskborn and one of Aisling's fledglings. The way they were found, their last moments were far from pleasant, to say the least.
This is absurd. We're sequestered here like a bunch of idiots, struggling to find common ground, pretending we have this mess handled. We can't let this continue, you know that. We have to crush this mob, snap their pitchforks, and smother their torches before everything spirals out of control.
I mean, you're the sheriff. In my book, that's your shot to call. You've got plenty of backup in there. Honestly, I don't know what's holding you back.
That's the fundamental difference between us. Unlike you, I still have a modicum of respect for the rules, even when they bind my hands to the choices of fools.
Language. Yikes, there's that fiery glare again. I need to work on my timing, and he needs to sort out his anger issues. Do you mind if I intrude on this delightful conversation? Jesus. I hate when she pulls that Cheshire cat shit, popping out of thin air like that.
What is it, Valerie?
We might have identified the mastermind behind your locust swarm, as you so aptly put it. A mere glimpse at the file she hands Kadir has me reeling. Him? Seriously? Positive. But then, piecing things together, it makes perfect sense. The locust would only rally under a supremely charismatic asshole. And there's no asshole quite as magnetic as Aaron Fletcher. Complete the serpent chapter. Okay, let's end the night. Night 4. 4 nights till New Year. The concept of sleep completely changes when you become one of us. You don't really get gently lulled by the warmth of Morpheus's embrace, more like tossed into dark, depthless waters where the cold suffocates you till you can't feel anything. Waking up doesn't exactly leave you rested, but it's not quite exhaustion either. It's more like a narrow escape from some fathomless and terrible threat. Which doesn't all explain why I feel so fucking exhausted as I make my way to Paddy's, tuning out the lively chaos of New York streets on a chilly December night. Even the city's festival lights, scattered among the gray urban landscape, can't lift my spirits. Neither can the delicate glimmer of the snow. Do vampires ever suffer from seasonal depression? Because it sure as hell feels like I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Paddy manages to blend in seamlessly with the scenery, yet I spot him from a block away near his haven. Uncharacteristically, both his hands are buried in his pockets instead of fumbling with that lifeline ring of his. Now I know, now as they're getting like closer, I notice that she's referring to him as Podrick, but it's just easier for me to say Paddy, so we'll just, for the sake of this, we'll just keep on calling him Paddy. His head is bowed, eyes aimlessly fixed on the pavement as usual. Let's make it weird. Hey, hey, hey. What's a kindred like you doing in a place like this? His expression softens to a wry smile. Oh, this old place? It's just where I hang out. I was actually waiting for you. I jokingly fan myself with my hand. Whew, it's getting hot in here. How about we switch gears? Tell me, what's the forecast with Kaiser tonight? Well, to be perfectly frank, we can expect the cold front of hostility. I roll my eyes. Fantastic. Another enemy is just what I need here. It's not quite like that. To put it plainly, Kaiser's presence is nothing short of repulsive. I've yet to encounter another kindred who's that inherently distasteful. However, I must implore you to bite your tongue. If we want answers, we must suffer the insufferable, I'm afraid. Well, I can't make any promises. I mean, I'll give it a shot, but we both know how that's likely to turn out. Maybe it's best if you do all the talking? Observing would be my preference, but I think we can manage. There's a brief, pregnant pause, and then I succumb to the urge to disrupt it. What do you think Kaiser will want from us in return? Before I can form my worries into words, a monstrous, opulent limousine screeches to a halt beside us, its tires right up against the curb. Paddy braces himself and gives me a resolute nod just as the limousine door bursts open and a lanky guy steps out. Wait a minute. It's you? You? It's that lame gambler guy. The one I totally humiliated way back when. What's he doing here? You work for Kaiser. You're a you're one of them. Damn it, I should have known. Trying to play you didn't get me any favors, let me tell you. Not that I'm blaming you or anything, miss. You could try, but even better, learn how to play the gambler's game. You're gonna need it if you want to keep on swindling. He looks at me with eyes devoid of thought. Is that some type of poker, or how about we put an end to this conversation right about now? The guy cowers a little at Paddy's exasperated tone, but quickly recovers. Come on in. The boss is waiting. Threat increases. Great. I thought I was ready for anything after Paddy's warnings and all the nasty rumors about Kaiser, but man, I was totally off. That Nosferatu info broke his face even more hideous than I could have imagined. And the limo? Far from the swanky vibe I expected. Instead, we're in a high-tech paradise. Top-tier peripherals, touchpads, laptops, phones, tablets, the works. It feels so much like my own geeky heaven that I have to sit on my hands to stop myself from touching everything. I'm so caught up in all the cool gadgetry that I forget about Kaiser's fabled mean streak, so when his grating, nasally voice cuts through the engine's hum, I nearly jump out of my skin. Nosferatu. They wear their curse on the outside. Their bodies horribly twisted and deformed through the embrace, they lurk on the fringes of most cities, acting as spies and brokers of information. Using animals and their own supernatural capacity to hide, nothing escapes the eyes of the so-called sewer rats. The clan of the hidden, horrors, sewer rats, lepers, hives, scabs, vagrants, and warlocks. Now, when they did 4th edition World of Darkness, where everything was kind of under a singular system, the Nosferatu could actually look normal compared to the monstrous Count Orlok style vibe that you see in the game now. But if they did look normal, there was something off about them. I guess in 3rd edition terms, they would have eerie presence. But yeah, people would still be repelled from them, but more like when you walk by someone and they look at you and you get that feeling on the back of your neck, something like that, which I always thought was a cool kind of maybe merit or differentiation in the clan.
Listen up, you fuckwits. Time is money and you're clearly broke as shit. Spill it now or piss off out of my ride.
Oh, hell no. Who the fuck do you think you are, asshole? How if I piss all over your ride, huh? I might have lost my cool a bit there. I don't even need to look at Paddy to know he's seething with frustration. But I'm not backing down that easily. Kaiser just scoffs and glares at me, giving me the silent treatment for what feels like forever.
Well, look at that. This one's got some bite in her fangs. Reminds me of someone I really don't fucking like.
His hand moves toward his leg and he clenches it so tightly his knuckles dance under his awful skin. Interesting.
Alright, let's cut the crap. Conroy tells me you're itching to dig into the circulatory system database because that fucker Castle screwed the pooch. Big time.
I raise an eyebrow at Paddy. I hadn't really thought about what setting up a meeting entailed, but I definitely didn't expect Kaiser to score all this free intel. Paddy's frown suggests that Kaiser might have snagged some secrets on the sly. That fucker Castle, huh? You have a history with Reynard? Kaiser flashes me a grin with those shark-like teeth, and I can't tell if he's amused or threatening, so I just put on my best tough girl face.
I have beef with him, that's what I have. That cocksucker can't keep his nose out of where it doesn't fucking belong.
Well, it does sound a lot like Reynard, so I just shrug and nod. Thankfully, Paddy suddenly remembers he's supposed to do the talking. So, judging by all this hardline posturing, I assume you have some plan up your sleeve, Kaiser?
Watch your fucking mouth, Conroy. You're in my space now.
I'm dying to throw some snark his way again, but I choke back the urge. Paddy's stern glare definitely plays a part in that.
Here's the deal. I've set up a meeting at the main office of the circulatory system, posing as a high-rolling Ventru Autarchus looking to dump some cash into their pit. Now...
Name?
What?
What exactly do we call this Autarchus? Kindred who remain unbound to political sects, either through refusal to allow other sects to move into their domain, or simply refusing to align themselves to any cause but their own. Their ambitions usually lie in protecting their own unlives or lineage, and they care little for others. The independents, essentially.
Didn't I just tell you to shut your trap? The faster I'm done, the faster you fuckers stop stinking up my car.
Maybe if you spill all the beans now, I won't need to drill you with more questions later, yeah? Gally has a point, Kaiser. We need to be thorough about every last detail if we're to pull this off.
The name's Mr. Tiburon, you twats. You satisfied?
That's more like it. Go on.
Unbelievable. Now, the Autarchus, Mr. Tiburon, he ain't about to smingle with the lowlifes himself, so he's sending his goons, that's you morons, to handle the big fucking deal on his behalf. Those blue blood assholes are so hungry for a buck, they'll jump at any fucking chance they get. That's your ticket into their fortress.
The Ventru. The Ventru are not called the Clan of Kings for nothing. Carefully choosing their progeny from mortals familiar with power, wealth, and influence, the Ventru style themselves the aristocrats of the vampire world. Their members are expected to assume command wherever possible, and they're willing to endure storms for the sake of leading them from the front. The Clan of Kings, the Blue Bloods, tyrants, warlords, patricians, Borgias. Out of nowhere, he whips out 2 ID cards and flicks them at us. There's a note slapped onto mine with a sticky mess of blue, sporting a Staten Island address and a hand so sloppy it's practically criminal.
This here's your golden fucking key into that dump. Lose it, and you're fucked. Capiche?
Capiche.
What you do next is on you. You'll find the database in their labs.
Any CCTV? What about cameras? That place must be crawling with them.
Screw the cameras. Either way, you fucks better plan your exit from the city, and fast. As for you, Conroy, you'll scrape something together.
Paddy responds with a slight grimace.
Maybe you'll slither back begging for my help. I might find something for you, for a hefty fee, of course.
That will definitely not be necessary. Thanks for the concern, though. And for these cards. Just then, the limo swerves dramatically to the right and screeches to a halt on the sidewalk. Sound of honking cars filling the air.
Deal sealed. Now get the hell out. I've got real business to handle.
In the ensuing chaos, we scramble out of the limo under the harsh glare of streetlights, the urgent tone of Kaiser's farewell echoing behind us.
I'll be at the spot on the note. Don't screw this up, or else.
Paddy and I stand motionless, caught in a kind of limbo, watching a Kaiser's limo dodges through traffic, disappears around a corner, and slips out of sight. Well, that could have gone way worse, right? We extracted more from that meeting than mere incentives. I would say it went quite well. So this batshit crazy plan, we're actually going to break into the circulatory system and jack their data? I mean, it's right up my alley, but yeah, the plan's utterly mad. Yet it seems we got no other option. Paddy appears eerily composed, as if the idea of being caught red-handed at the circulatory system hasn't crossed his mind. But I can tell the wheels are turning. He's probably stressed to the point of zen. I chew on my lip and think. Think happy thoughts? Right. Well, enough doom and gloom. We go in, you do the talkie-talkie, I do the sneaky-sneaky, bada bing, bada boom, done and dusted. It does sound like a plan, yes. Any objections? Well, no? Good. Let's hit it. My mood shifts dramatically as soon as we buckle up in Paddy's car and take off toward our goal. No perfectly serviceable? Oh. I almost feel numb. The way my brain buzzes with uncoordinated thoughts like a giant, incomprehensible beehive. Out of the corner of my eye, I catch Paddy throwing concerned glances my way before he decides to break the silence. Is everything okay? Yeah. It's just that I may not know Reynard as well as I thought I did. The circulatory system, the antediluvian, some enigmatic powerful backer. I'm not even sure who he is anymore. And it's not like I can just ask him right now. Paddy absorbs my words, mulling over a thought in a heavy silence. I get it. It's really unsettling to realize you don't truly know someone you thought you were close to. Guess the ticking clock isn't making things any easier, huh? It fucking doesn't, but cheers for the reminder. My apologies. I wasn't trying to add to your stress. Yeah, I get it. But hey, I playfully smack his shoulder, forcing a smile through the strain. At least we won't be stuck with me much longer, right? His attention snaps from the road to me, his look one of unexpected irritation. You know I take no joy at the thought of hauling you before the Primogen Council should we fail to capture Castle. I swiftly turn my head away and look out the window. Well, I do now. Ooh. Okay. We've got the lifeline Kaiser. So we made our shots, and now we are breaking into the circulatory system's labs. Awesome. I'm sure this will go without any problems whatsoever. But we will start this in the next episode, guys. I hope you all have enjoyed it. If you liked the episode, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.